Hi there, Cora and Rachel. We are going to do a quick walkthrough this morning of the revised window sizes. My thought is here that we need to look at these new sizes. Rachel, if you can kind of approve the design intent of those, and then I can make a follow-up video probably Monday morning or on Monday, maybe before Monday, with more detailed information on all the window sizes that you can send to the contractor, send to Sean, and so we can communicate to him the design intent, particularly of these diagonal windows that we're going to be looking at. So that is what I'm thinking the steps are in this. So let's start. So we're going to start with this new porch design, the covered porch, a little awning over the porch like we talked about. So this is a 312 slope on this standing seam metal roof, which bumped up the sill of this diagonal window about 1 foot from what we were looking at before. And actually, my eyes have gotten used to it. It may look a little small to your eyes as you adjust to the difference. But one thing with the computer model is, sometimes things don't look quite right yet because our eyes have gotten used to what we were looking at before. So it looks new and different. So give your eyes a little bit of a chance to adjust to some of the different sizes we're going to be looking at. But and also the bottom of these tall windows gets moved up about 6 inches. The reason for that is when Cora and I finished working on it, one of them was dropping pretty close down to the roof. Generally, when water is hitting a surface and splashing, you want to give about 6 inches before the bottom of a window, and that just is going to protect your window from getting excess moisture on the sill, which is going to deteriorate the window. It's also going to make your window dirty more frequently when it rains. But the big thing is protecting that sill, which is a vulnerable spot from excess water splashing up onto it. So we want to keep those window sills 6 inches off of this standing seam metal roof, and I still think they look proportionally pretty good. So I do want to point out too that we need to remember we're experiencing this porch from a perspective like this. The wall's not modeled over here, but as I was looking at it with Cora, it's a very symmetrical arrangement. Particularly the concept image is very center on experience of this. Is because it's a very symmetrical design. I still think it works, but I just want to give you views of how you're actually going to see this. You're not necessarily going to. Let me jump into this view. This is kind of from the neighbor's house, right? How we get a full understanding of how this is. We will experience it straight on as you move past this corner, perhaps. Just keeping in mind, now you're up close. You don't really see the top of the standing seam metal roof, which we do from back here, probably from about that angle. So I'm just talking through. I want to give you the views that you're going to experience this porch from walking up to it. So it'll be something like this as you approach. So now we experience the full porch, and so let's take a look at it in more detail from the neighbor's house. So so this is a 312 sloping roof. These are 4x8 posts and beams to give kind of this framed opening. We have 2x6 joists that attach, roof joists that attach to the house. And right now, in the concept image, and I like it, you're either going to see kind of a solid piece across the bottom, or I've pulled the fascia up just behind the gutter, so you experience a little bit of the bottom edge of the joist coming down. I really like that look. It kind of gives this framed feeling of it, but you guys can comment on that if you want to see it with a solid line across here, which starts to just look like, instead of these looking like joists, they look like a kind of a framed band around that. And I like this personally a little bit better. Looking at having a rain chain at one end of the gutter as opposed to a gutter that comes down to the ground. I put the rain chain on this end because this is garden, and I'm thinking, you can stick a rock over here, and the rock can dissipate that into garden, which is a good spot for that. My only concern with this is, this is about 12 inches from your sidewall. So if there's any splattering and things like that, you might get some splatter on this sidewall. Again, that's excess water that could deteriorate that portion faster than the rest of it, which makes you notice it more. It may not be enough to do that, but that's just my concern. The other option is to bring your rain chain down at this side and actually put, kind of a pot here to catch it, and a drain, a ground drain, like under the pot we've done before, to take that water out. And that pot can be filled with rocks and even succulents. And but you need the drain underneath it to get the water out, or you need to get it, into a permeable surface somewhere. So anyway, so that's our porch design. The cobblestone porch here is about 4'10", so close to 5 feet out, and it's 4 feet between the posts and the wall, how we have it drawn. And so all that is to keep, 312 is a minimum slope for a standing seam roof, and I just didn't want, we were trying to keep this high enough, so we had it lower at first, and it really blocked the door. This is kind of like a happy median right now. The bottom of that beam is 7'6". We tried it both at 8 feet, which just seemed to this just became a sliver up here. You could see 6 inches higher, and 7 feet, it really blocked the door view. Down 6 inches, you could see, you can't really see that door very well anymore. So 7'6" to the bottom of the beam seemed like the happy place for that. So these windows, check them out. Do we like how those are looking? Let's jump around to the inside really quick and take a look. So inside it's working, I think. Still, I mean, this window got a little smaller, but still proportionally it looks fine on the wall. The one thing we noted is you do lose sight of the chandeliers from outside, at least the height we have them. So maybe we consider raising them a little bit so we kind of see them a little bit more in that window view. That's possible. But I think these coming up 6 inches didn't hurt this, I think, at all. I think that proportionally still looks very nice on that wall. I want to note here too, my comment on the shop drawings essentially is about, this window slope. So in the shop drawings, this slope is way shallow. It's like that. So it doesn't match the, we want this slope here to be the same as this slope here. Otherwise it just looks funny. So they need to get this slope right, and then we can give them, this dimension. I'll actually give them this dimension and this dimension, as well as the height off the floor that we're looking for in the next video. So I'll give them those dimensions, but this needs to be field verified. So they need to go check this slope, because the guy who manufactures this window needs to take responsibility for matching that to that. I've put my smart level on it and got a 612 pitch. So that's where my suggestion is, 612. That's how I know it's wrong, but they need to go and check that, and because they have responsibility to make those windows match that slope. But we need to give them design intent. We want this equal, and anyway, I'll communicate that in the next video. But I want you guys to look at this right now and say, yes, I like the look of that window. The size of that window is okay given our new awning design out here. So that's what we would like to do. Let's take a look at these other windows real quick, just from the outside. So we've got, this guy hidden by the tree. Let's hide our tree real quick. Hide. So these are our window sizes out here, and then we'll jump back inside and look at those in the room in a second as well. So let's go ahead and yeah, let's do that. Let's jump over to the kitchen real quick. So the kitchen windows, we looked at aligning the tops of these with the tops of your sliders. We did not like the look of it at all. I can show you that if you want, but they're just too tight to the ceiling. We think it works okay for this slider to be tight to the ceiling, because this and this are a very different language. This can be taller, and it works fine. These don't look good taller. We lost the light up here. You could see if we move this 6 inches from the ceiling, we lose these lights. There's no room for them anymore. And they also just look funny. They're like pinched up tight to the ceiling. So we like the look of this wall, this elevation, with the windows this size and the head height at this size, which does not align with the slider, I just want to point out. And I think that's actually good. I think this slider should really relate to, see if I can, this wall open. This is big and open and looking out to the ocean. So that's the language of this wall. This wall does not have to speak to that in terms of head height. We want this to be scaled down a little bit, I think, for human scale, lower ceiling, in the kitchen, in the dining room. It's just a little bit more cozy feel versus this is open, looking out feel. So that's how I'm describing why. And these sliders just look completely different from these windows. So let's not match the head height. Maybe hope that's enough on that. But anyway, so there's these window sizes. Again, design intent. Let us know if that is looking like we want it, conceptually how we want it, and then I'll give you in a follow-up video, the specific sizes of it. I think so I think they are what we have them in the shop drawings right now, which is 3/6 tall by 30 inches wide, basically. So 3/6 tall by 30 inches. Okay, let's jump up here and just review quickly our other windows because we've put the sizes now in the model how we have them. So here's the bathroom window is in here. That size of the shop drawing works great here. Here's the laundry room window. So the size was slightly bigger than in the shop drawing than we had it modeled, but it works, I think, fine. So the sink is pushed slightly off center, and I'll just want to communicate to Sean, the design intent is to center this as close as possible. We just need to mitigate how close it gets to this wall on the outside. We need enough room for a good detail here. So we want a couple inches between the edge of the frame and this wall. So this is gonna locate. That's the critical part there, making sure construction-wise and waterproofing and all of that, and finishing in a way that's not sloppy looking or like a mistake, like the window got slammed up against the wall. And then we will center this sink on the window. This room is not symmetrical, so I think the sink doesn't need to be like exactly centered from here to here, because the countertop's not symmetrical, but we just functionally want it to work where it ends up. And it needs to look somewhat in the middle of the room. We don't want it pushed way over here. So I'll include details of the design intent for that to Sean, and then he can let us know where this is landing based on as-built measurements. So this is the downstairs bedroom. Obviously, these are from the shop drawing, so that's what it's looking like. I have centered it on this wall. I need some direction as to whether or not that's what you guys have talked about, but I think aesthetically, I think that works best centered on the wall. So we want to communicate that to, that's the design intent. We want to get that communicated clearly. So here's this, this is Luke's bathroom, and that size looks great. All right, let's jump upstairs. I think we hit on, let's touch really quickly on this also. So I also want to communicate the design intent to the contractor on this window. Again, we want the pitch to match the ceiling with about a foot between here, equal, and I'll give him the sizes that we have drawn. They can tell us if the field conditions allow that, but the big thing is that pitch we want to have matching. So let's jump upstairs and look at those windows really quick. We kind of already reviewed these stair windows, but I just want to look at it, in here. I think the size works great for this upstairs window, and looking out the window, you're going to see the top of that new standing seam porch outside, which I think is fine and great. So let's go to Maya's bathroom really quick. This is the window size that's currently in her bathroom. Let's drop down and just see. It's a square window, and I think that's working pretty well. Again, the window locate. I do not have the window locations. These are the correct sizes that match the shop drawing. But sorry, I moved this over too. I think we still need to talk more about furniture in this room layout, but this is the window size. So these are centered on this wall, this double window, and this window needs to get located so it is again, I would recommend the sill 6 inches off of the top of that roof just to give that sill the same longevity as the others. Otherwise, you'll be replacing that window before the others. This is the master bathroom window. We had talked before about putting an operable portion on this window, which I would like to get modeled in here. And as we sketched it in our meeting, it was an operable portion here at the top. And I'd recommend a hopper window that opens out like that. So, and I think that would be good to get an operable portion of this. You know, the alternative would be to do it vertically. Magically appeared. And I think something vertically could work too. This room is not symmetrical at all, so you could go with an asymmetrical arrangement. The advantage of this would be it's easier to operate than a hopper window that's high. That's going to be on the high window. It's going to be right here that you have to get to operate that, because the extension is usually in the middle here. So you can see that's not that easy to get to. You're going to be standing in the tub, leaning towards the window, versus if it was on the side, at least the operator is here. So that's easier to operate that window from that view. I guess the downside is if you open that window in that location, someone from a window there is going to have a view straight into your shower when that window is open, because it's a frosted window. But anyway, this window needs a little bit more discussion, so maybe you guys can talk about this window today, how that operable portion, that's the advantage of the top operable. When it's open, nobody can see in, so that probably makes more sense. You could even have that top portion clear and the bottom portion frosted to give that privacy that you need from the neighbor's windows. So that's that window. We made this window taller. It could go even taller if you want to. The ceiling line is right here. So right now, the top of this window aligns with the top of all your doors, which is typical for all the windows. I have that called out in the drawings. Maybe a little higher, I don't remember. Anyway, the header's called out in the drawing, the plan drawing that we have already printed out and distributed. So. But take a look at this window. Do we want to look at it a little taller even? You know, I think you just want to balance. This is frosted. It's operable. The nice thing about these cabinets is it does give privacy. If you open this up, it's going to be difficult to see into the changing room from next door. Unless you open it way up, obviously, then you're going to be able to see in. But okay, I do need to raise this still, but that raised height is obviously going to work in here just fine. So hopefully that covers all of the windows we wanted to look at. I'm going to jump back out to the front just so we can end on this, but review the design of this. We really like how it turned out. I really like the look of it here on the front of the house. I think it's going to adds a lot of dimension to this entry and the space, as well as protection from, if it's raining, waiting to get in the door. It's great. It protects you from the sun. So this is going to be a great addition, I think, onto the design of the house. So also, talking about landscape, I think out here is super important. So I'm going to wrap that up. That's a long video, so hopefully I can get it posted in time for your meeting. Thanks.